I'm at Mike and Judy Barr's private museum located somewhere in the foothills of the Cascade Mountains this morning to attend a Branch 245 meeting. Our officers and boards bribe us into attending by finding amazing locations to hold our quarterly meetings and potlucks. As I walk through the woods, I am completely overwhelmed by the stacks of drying lumber and the sheer amount of interesting video subjects along the gravel drive that leads up to a full-service gas station frozen in time at about 1930, where gas was 20 cents a gallon. Mike describes himself as an organized hoarder, but the International OCD Foundation says by definition he is not a hoarder, he is a collector. This is good news for Judy. This early-style choker is hanging from a horse or ox-powered winch that once dragged logs out of the woods and up to the mill. Milled lumber is dried in air by covering and stacking with separating boards called stickers. The wood dries unevenly, with the ends drying faster. The uneven drying causes the board ends to split. Ends are sealed to reduce this problem. A little further down the road, I encounter the first structure on the property, a shed built to protect equipment from the incessant Washington rain that makes these beautiful trees. By the way, this building is made from carbon dioxide removed from the air by photosynthesis. Forests are great carbon sinks, but become carbon neutral when mature, giving off as much carbon through decay as they store through photosynthesis. All the lumber in your home is sequestered carbon. Life is complex, and this is a simplified, incomplete explanation. Read some of Jerry Franklin's work if you are a techie. Artifacts of high lead and spar pole logging are found everywhere on Bar Hill. This block would be placed atop the spar pole and connected to a steam donkey for high lead logging and yarding. This block is about 4 feet tall and made by Mallory in Portland, Oregon. A collection of log tongs hangs outside a very interesting building we will spend some time in later. Now let's meet Mike and Judy.
Full service station.
This is Mike Barr, his wife Judy Barr, our gracious hosts, letting us enjoy this amazing collection while we have our branch meeting today for Branch 245.
I'm glad you came. It's called a lubester. They have bulk oil in it. They'd be at the stations, and these pieces move out of the way so you can fill the jars full of oil. And then when you get done, this springs back in front of it to take the oil back down in the tank. You can have various weights. There's 3 separate bins in here, 3 separate tanks.
When he took us in that room here a while back.
Do you fill them up?
He says,
Yes.
Using
yeah, he
this,
says,
and then you
gonna
can
do
Distribute it out through here.
moving anything out here.
And you can track how much oil's in the tank with the dipsticks.
Right, so there's actually 3 separate tanks, 3 different.
Yeah.
And then when you want to, you can move it, and then this you circle this and it pumps it
Into a glass jar.
and this is to fill up the.
That's to fill it
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
There you go.
This is how they measured it out. These jars are a quart. And they fill it up on here. And then you can put it into your motor with this.
That's like our built-in filler spout on
Yeah.
the top. Full service. If you needed anything for your vehicle, you could find it at one of these rural retail outlets. The fancier outfits had a shade tree mechanic on duty most days. It was often the center of small communities where the latest gossip was exchanged, and old men on the front porch complained about the government. They carried spark plugs, tail lights, points, motor oil, new tires, fan belts, and radiator hoses, as well as soft drinks, cigarettes, and chewing tobacco. This was an era when Me Too was stated after someone said, "I want ice cream." When I was 16, I worked at my uncle's full-service gas and grocery store in Hineston, Louisiana. He sold Humble oil products, so the name of the store had to be Humble Andy's. I learned a lot working here about people as well as mechanical skills I would use for the rest of my life. It was here I realized I enjoyed working on things. My favorite activity was vulcanizing inner tubes with benzene and pyrotechnics clamped under a vise just like this. Life was good. My uncle's service station was located at the junction of Louisiana Highway 112 and 121. 121 led to Fort Polk from Alexandria. The Vietnam War was just beginning to escalate, and a lot of traffic stopped at Humble Andy's for gas and a cool drink. 3 years later, I learned some more life lessons in Vietnam. The Eisenhower freeway system began the decline of Route 66 and the Lincoln Highway, as well as the end of full-service stations like Humble Andy's all across America. Mike's attention to every detail of that era can be found in this building that takes me back some 60 years. We held our meeting in Mike's service bay. The iconic screen door leading into the sales office with advertising signs. One even intimates that cigarettes were good for your health, but Chesterfields were the best for you. Let's head towards the Belsaw.
Mill,
That's a spare for your mill, so what's the diameter on that one?
52 inches.
52 inch. Is that replaceable teeth?
Yes. This is just a static display I've got of an old log truck.
Yeah.
It's a Model AA. It just fits here.
Daily driver.
Yep.
Log tongs on the back. And remember that building I said we would revisit?
Let's go for a walk. That's how springboards were used. You cut that notch into the stump. The whole reason was to get above the twist on these cedars. The bottom 10 feet of the stump, the tree was no good because of the twist. So you cut holes into it to get up above the twist, and then you cut them down.
Is that cork marks on that old guy?
You bet it is.
That's the real deal right there. This was in the late 1800s that they used this technique of logging. They would stand on that thing up off the ground and cut.
It's too big. They put a number of them in and have boards across them like scaffolding. They're all used.
Yeah, they're all the real deal.
Yeah.
Every one of them. And then these double bit axes, that's what they would use when they were standing on there.
Standing on it.
And then here's the old misery whip.
I think my longest one is 12 feet. I've got 12, 11, 10, 9, 8 bunches.
What's this? Is this a lemming axe, or why is that short handle like that?
Well, it's what the toppers used.
Okay.
They go up to make a spar pole.
Yeah.
This was their rigging. They'd put this belt on, this rope around the tree, their spurs. They'd have this hung from their belt, and one of these saws hung from their belt. And these wedges here were small enough that they could use, and
And
they'd
they
put
could-
rope through these holes
To tie it to them.
so they could pack them with them.
Let me see. Let me make sure I get a good shot of that.
And this was all a topper's outfit,
Okay.
where you go up and top the trees and put your plates on, and off you go.
I should know what that is, but I
They're
don't.
log dogs.
Log dogs.
And then these staples, the guys would use when they were splicing cable or putting eyes in the cable. You hold it down onto a stump, run the cable through it so you can manipulate the cable and not have it slap you all the time.
Wow. There's a highly polished little brass whistle there.
Yeah, I bought that from an old boy over in Riderwood.
Wow. Well, and here's another one. Well, you could spend all day in here just looking at different things that you're missing. Log tongs, chokers.
This is kind of the progression of chokers right here. These were the originals, where they just bent over a piece and would use that as a choker. And then they got to where they'd have these triggers on them that would help hold the cable in.
Different advances in technology.
Yeah. A recreation of a skid shack that my great uncles built back in the 30s. that I rebuilt that particular one back in the 70s for my great aunt, and decided I wanted to make one for myself. It's on logs. It is a true skid shack. These were used primarily in the logging business. They would tow them, put them on flat cars and move them from site to site when they logged. And then when the logging started to slow down, the farmers started to grab them and use them as bunkhouses and what have you. And that's what this one's set up for.
George, this is how they were set up inside?
Well, I tried to make it as sparse as I could, but still useful. There's an area to cook, and
This would be authentic, though.
fairly as much as I could make it, yeah.
Wow. They got a little kitchen and a bunk beds back here
Yeah.
for the crew.
The one that my great uncles built, they put this piece on the outside of the building that the window slid in, and it was a fault. It was a fault. It's wicked water into the building, and it rotted off. So when I built this one, I put it on the inside, and works just like that.
Got the old squirrel gun over the door.
Yeah.
Tell us about the outhouse again.
Well, it was my first attempt at solar power. So I put the panel on. There's a battery down next to the bathroom there itself, and it powers a chandelier that I made inside and a radio.
Very nice.
I made that piece out of the log chains for a skidder.
Old tech and new tech.
Yeah,
Very nice.
So where's the light switch?
right here on the right when you walk
Oh
in.
my gosh, Shirley was in here
Got it.
before me and she says, really dark.
Got an AC inverter.
Turn
Is
the
it?
light on.
And then-
leave the door
and then-
open.
I know.
It's a 30-inch.
Timken bearing, 30-inch, made by Skookum.
Sold Belsaw. Like I said, it was sold through Montgomery Ward, and it's all compacted into this piece of iron here. Whereas if you buy a Belsaw, all this stuff's all spread out, and you have to mount it in wood. Whereas this one's all put in one piece. Easy to move, easy to set up.
Wow.
So how do you send the boards through here?
This is just part of it.
Come right across the top of this. The trolley runs right on top of this.
Oh.
And the trolleys are.
But right.
Well,
Oh,
that's an American trolley over there. These are mine.
Oh yeah, here we go.
And when John's stuff was being sold, I picked that shorter one up for parts.
Corbin's.
Yeah. But mine came with this 16-foot trolley. And then I picked these outfeed rollers up that all run on the other side of the mill.
Is this your log gauge
Um,
for depth of cut?
No, it's over here. Right here.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, it's similar.
Yeah, well, Belsaws are all the same, but they're similar to Americans.
This is the first Belsaw I've seen up close. Lots of them on YouTube.
Hopefully, all of this will make this.
It will.
It will. So it would dry well. To keep it from checking is bad. But these are all full dimension boards. This is all going to be the deck of the mill. These bigger beams at the bottom are some of the supports.
So let's see. What do you seal the ends to prevent checking with? Just paint?
I just paint them.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
what I did with mine. It works. So as long as you keep the moisture from coming out the ends.
Yep.
Is this an
This
American?
is an American
Yeah.
trolley.
He's got a few pieces left up there. By the barn, I saw some stuff laying on a pallet.
Yeah.
What kind is it?
It's a Caterpillar, but it's right wing Holt and Best formed Caterpillar. And it has the undulating word Caterpillar. That's how their first logo was. It was built in 1925 in Peoria, Illinois, and it's 70967 is its number. And it's a model M37. So it's prior to the numericals, the 10s and 20s.
Wow. There are just too many interesting things in this building. The low light makes it hard to get the details we need. I'm going to come back once Mike has the mill running and take a day to sort out all the little things in this building and get some video of the mill in action. Well, I could spend another 2 or 3 days here just poking my nose into every little niche and cranny, but we've got business to take care of. The board is arguing about a new coffee pot right now, and after that we have the general meeting before we can go to the potluck. So let's get this thing moving. This fat boy's ready to eat. Thanks for watching.